What's up, everybody? Josh and Jay back with the America is Blue podcast, transfer special edition. Jay, everybody knows that we definitely need some reinforcements. There's no doubt about it. And there's been a lot of names rumored about. We always have a lot of connections to different players throughout Europe, but this time around, we seem to be attached to a lot of people because we need a lot of help. So, per usual, man, first word to you. What's exciting you the most that you've been seeing and talking about?
There are a couple of moves that I think are pretty exciting. Actually, none of the ones that either are completed or at the 1 yard line. And, January transfer window and with our current predicament, it's trying to find this balance of being in a desperate situation, which we are, and trying to find the appropriate type of pieces that can help this team for now. If lucky enough, find some foundational pieces which can serve us moving forward. But there's also the fear that everybody's scrambling about. You're just trying to rush in reinforcements, and they may not exactly be the type of guys that you need, and it could just be a waste of cash. But there are a few names that are out there that are being floated around that I think would be really exciting, not only just for the rest of the season, but for us moving forward.
All right, well, so then give me your top two that I can see, because I can tell you one that I'm not a huge fan of that I see us very closely linked to right now, but I'd like to hear what you really like first.
Well, let's start off with who we already have. Obviously, we got David Dastro, Fofana, young striker. Too early to tell whether he's going to be a contributor. Let's forget about the rest of the season. Obviously, he's going to be a contributor because we have no other bodies up front. But whether he's going to continue to be with the squad or be loaned out. Benoit Badiashile, I think that's a pretty interesting piece. I don't know if he's going to be a starting center back for us or part of a rotation for us, but he's somebody that I think will stay with the team moving forward.
He's a big dude.
He's big dude. From Monaco. Our new scouting team is very familiar with them, so maybe they thought there was, some solid talent there that could develop and move forward with us. He's only 21 years old.
I just think that, well, just like you said, super young. And Benoit Badiashile, that is a fucking awesome name. Like you got,
it is pretty badass.
You got to stomp that one. That one's freaking awesome. Love that.
Yeah, left-footed center back. It serves some additional purpose there. Andre Santos, the Brazilian central midfielder, those guys are already in tow. I think the rest of the season is a perfect opportunity for all these guys to see what they've got, see if they're going to be a part of the team. Obviously, I think the most recent news, and I'm going to mangle his name, I've heard it pronounced 800 times, João Felix, on loan for the rest of the season. I've got mixed feelings about that one. This is either going to be boom or bust, but the good news is it's only a loan. So we could dive into that one a little bit further. But then there are a couple of other names that are floating around out there that I'm actually a little bit more excited about.
Well, João Felix, I'm not a fan of him. I've never been a big fan.
You don't like anybody Portuguese. Name me one Portuguese player you like.
That's not entirely true. That being said, it's just I kind of thought that he was overrated because he was the $100+ million boy or very close to it.
Over.
He was 100 and change.
Well over.
Going to Atletico. You know what a huge Diego Simeone fan I am, and I've heard some rumors about him, which I definitely want to talk about too. But he couldn't get it done under Diego Simeone. He didn't really impress me that much at the World Cup. He's all bark and no bite. I feel like he's the dude who's going to hit the post a bunch of times, but he's not the guy that's going to score you a goal. He's more of a dude who's going to sort of further the frustration rather than be an answer to some of the problems. I'm not a huge fan of his.
I'm going to start off with the cons that I feel toward him. We have a lot of guys kind of like him. A little bit soft, supposed to be very tactical, supposed to be good with the ball at his feet. These were all the same things that we heard about Kai Havertz. Raheem Sterling is kind of like that. I don't know how much he differentiates from them, but we obviously don't have any bodies on the wings, so it is what it is. He was really, really good when he was with Benfica. He was young. He got that monster contract. His results while at Atletico have been very, very underwhelming considering the price tag. But name me an attacker for Atletico Madrid over the last however many years who actually has impressed. It's just not their style, right? Like they're like that gritty, nasty junkyard dog, play super rugged defense. The entire back line is half balding. They're just, this is how they play, right? Like Antoine Griezmann was kind of terrible for them. I think this is a really good opportunity for all sides involved. Atletico doesn't want to carry his wages. We need some offensive help and support. We only have him for the rest of the season. What I would have liked to have seen in here, and I don't know how much it would have thrown off the economics of the deal, was an option to buy.
Yeah.
Because if we could have done the option to buy and, listen, if things go swimmingly for the next 6 months and he helps us get into Europe, save some part of the season if he's a contributor to that cause, then maybe he is something going forward because he's tremendously talented. And again, he's only 23 years old.
Well, I am all about bringing young guys in, and maybe a change of scenery, maybe getting into ironically enough, a more difficult league. Maybe that'll bring out the best in him and he can, rise to the occasion. Best of him.
I am glad it's a loan at this point and not an actual transfer, though, because that would have been super expensive, and I would have been really concerned about that.
Agreed. That would have been a panic buy rush situation, very out of the blue. Definitely don't agree with that at all. So let's get into some of the other attacking talent that we've seen attached to us. I got Marcus Thuram, of course. I've seen bandied about, and Mykhailo Mudryk from Ukraine. Both of these guys bring a little something different. I think Thuram is a little bit more of an out-and-out striker, a little closer to the goal. But both of these guys are really exciting. Mudryk was an Arsenal target. We're going to try to do the classic swoop there. Who do you like? Who do you like better, Thuram or Mudryk, for what we need?
I think I would like Mudryk better. I think that ship has sailed. I think it's almost locked that he's going to Arsenal. He's commanding $100 million fee.
Oh, is it up to
100 million euro, pounds? Yeah, it's some ridiculous amount. I can't see us going ahead and splashing cash for something like that at this point in time. If we're just picking the player and financial fair play and the economics of it don't matter, I would take him. I just continue to get concerned with plucking offensive talent out of the Bundesliga. Thuram is playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach. And listen, he's done well there. He's on the French national team squad. He made the squad for the World Cup. So listen, there's obviously talent there. There's always a discount. You score 30 goals in the Bundesliga, you may get 7 in if you come to the Prem. So if your name isn't Erling Haaland.
Well, hopefully Nkunku can break that trend, because we're going back.
Yeah, I hope so.
We're going right back to the Leipzig with him. We sent Timo back. He started scoring again for him, and then got hurt right before the World Cup. But I definitely agree that in terms of goal scoring talent, the Bundesliga is just a different place to score goals than the Prem.
Yeah. But who I am really excited about, and these aren't massive names. I mean, we threw our hat in the ring today for Pedro Porro.
Yep, Pedro Porro.
Who's out of Sporting.
Yep, the right back.
Yeah, we're thinking you want to get a good right back because our situation there is abysmal at the moment. We can't just keep on throwing Dave out there. He's a spot starter. He just gets worked, and everybody just attacks that side of the field, and then it extends people. There's pressure. We can't just keep on doing that. So you want to get somebody that's good. You're not going to be able to get anybody too good because they know that as soon as Reece James comes back, they're hitting the pine. Yep. So you almost kind of have to try to find one of these guys that's like a Marcus Alonso type signing. You get him for a couple of 10, 20, 30 million. He knows that he can play. Maybe he has some versatility, a guy who can play on both sides. I think Porto's pretty much exclusively on the right. But, again, another relatively young guy at 23 years old. He can go out there. He can cover for Reece, who hasn't consistently been healthy, unfortunately. I think we need a move like that. Whether he's the exact guy, I don't know. But I think we definitely need a move like that. And I think the guy I'm most excited about, Arsene Zakarian, who we've been speaking with this guy, I think going back into the summer, 19-year-old guy playing for Dynamo Moscow. It's already signed, sealed, delivered, like all personal. Everything has been taken care of as far as the deal is concerned. But for visa purposes and geopolitical issue, we can't get him in. We can't get him here, but he's ready to rock like now. I think that's a really interesting, exciting young piece. That guy as an attacking midfielder who can kind of play centrally, sort of like a 10 role. I'd be excited to see what that looks like.
Well, we definitely need help in the midfield. We need a new heartbeat. We need a new engine room. It's got to be addressed. So now that the Enzo thing has sort of fallen through, I know that we had our eyes on Caicedo. What do you think is going to happen now if we've truly moved on from Enzo?
Ideally, I'd like to see us go back to the table and just drop a bag of cash. I don't know if that's feasible. Again, it's one of these things. It's such a sensitive position, man. Like, you need top-line talent in your midfield to be a successful team. There's no top-notch team in the world that has a shitty midfield. So getting a stopgap, we have stopgaps. We have one guy in the midfield who I think is truly, truly world-class in Mateo Kovacic, and is can consistently play like that. We have a lot of issues elsewhere. I don't want to bring in some guy, spend the money, and then not play somebody who could turn into that in Carney Chukwuemeka, because I've loved what I've seen from him. I think Dennis Sakari has done well. So it's either you're going out there to make a really, really impactful move, or don't bother, and then wait until the summer.
Yeah, I mean, summer's when you can really splash the cash, but we are in desperate need of reinforcements everywhere. Hopefully N'Golo Kante can get healthy and contribute sometime soon. It would be fantastic to see him back out there wearing the number 7. Now, I also just want to bring this up before we kind of put a bow on this. Diego Simeone seems to be becoming available out there. If he were available in the manager pool, granted, I think Zidane, it's fair to say, would be anybody's first choice. Anybody's going to want that guy. Would he want us?
Yeah.
That remains to be seen. But what do you think about the Diego Simeone type fit? Do you think he's too pragmatic and too defensive for what Chelsea would be trying to do?
It's such a good question, because I love the guy. I love the energy. I think he's like personality. That's the kind of guy I do want on a Chelsea sideline.
Absolutely love it.
I would want all of that. Style of play. I have no problem with throwing out a very defensive-minded team. I could care less. I don't need to see 3-4 goals in every single game or see some beautiful brand of football. I want to see successful football. I think in recent years, when we've been at our best and we've had the most success, stint number 2 with Mourinho, Antonio Conte, crazy run with Thomas Tuchel to the Champions League, we weren't exactly lighting up the scoreboard. We played very sound, very solid football, and then when we had our opportunities, we struck.
Indeed.
I have no problem with that. But I've never really seen Atletico play any kind of even close to attractive and solid offensive football.
Not their
so
style.
maybe he's just maybe the right type of guy, right personality. I think maybe he's just a little bit too far on the stodgy defensive spectrum.
The aesthetics aren't going to match the brand.
I need a tick or two over. A tick or two over.
Yeah, I agree, because I love the mentality. I love that guy's fire. He's amazing. The fact that he won La Liga, which was a very difficult league to win with an Atletico squad. It's fantastic. Hats off to him.
He's the anti-Graham Potter.
Oh, no.
He's the polar opposite. Those guys, you could not find two different personalities.
That's probably why I like him so much. So, all right, man. Well, this was awesome to chop it up with you. Is there anybody else that you think that you got your eyes on for the January window? I think this is basically us tapped out, but if you got anybody else that is hiding under a rock or think that we should be taking a look at.
My Hail Mary, just because of his contract situation, is Moukoko with Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
I think that would be the dream. Get a young author. I'll take back everything I just said about the Bundesliga and roll the dice with that kid. I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be my last Hail Mary. But dude, we're still very early in the window, and we're obviously being active. We're pounding the pavement on anybody who's out there. So I think there's a lot more that's going to come up before the window shuts.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more as Chelsea continues to plow through this terrible season. We're looking for some mid-season reinforcements to try to get us up the ladder, up the table. Jay, we'll chop it up with you again soon. Till then, America is indeed blue. We'll talk to you all soon.